The race for the Montana Senate seat in 2026 has just got much more interesting. Senator Daines, from the state of Montana, who was up for re-election in 2026, has dropped out of this race, his re-election bid to be Montana senator for another 6-year term. Now, this came just hours before the filing deadline, and at that point, Kurt Alm, who is the U.S. Attorney for the District of Montana, officially filed paperwork within those last few hours before the filing deadline to serve as the next senator from the state of Montana. Now, this is significantly interesting, not only the development of Senator Daines dropping out of this race, announcing that he's not going to run for re-election. I mean, if we look back in 2020, he won the race by 10 points, and if we go 4 years earlier, he won it by 17 points, and then in 2008, it was a Democratic district back then by 45 points, insane margin there. But of course, he originally won the seat in 2014 by 17 points. 6 years later, 2020, 10 points, and then in 2026, it was fully expected that he would win by a pretty significant margin. Well, what makes this race even more interesting now is because the former senator from the state, Jon Tester, announced that he was going to endorse the independent candidate in this race, Seth Bodner, who is the former president of the University of Montana. He's an independent candidate, and the interesting thing is that I've heard a lot of people over the last few hours talk about this possibility that Democrats completely drop out of this race and leave it up to him, Seth Bodner, to run in this race against the Republicans such as Kurt Alm. And in a year such as this, what 2026 is expected to be for Democrats, where Democrats are expected to perform very well on the national stage, this could be very interesting, especially if we look back at this race from 2024, when Tim Sheehy won this race by 7 points, defeating incumbent Senator Jon Tester by just 7 points. I mean, it was a very slim margin especially when we compare it to the presidential level, where Trump won it by 19 points. So, significant development there. I mean, sure, if Jon Tester was able to run, which he isn't, then that would be even more significant, given the fact that 2 years ago at this point, at the point when the election happens, he only lost the race by 7 points to the same ballot that Trump won it by 19. So, very significant there, but it's even more significant that he's decided to endorse this independent candidate, Seth Bodner. And if Democrats can convince overall to end up dropping out of this race, if they can get their Democratic candidates to drop out of this race and leave it fully to an independent such as Seth Bodner, this race could become significantly more interesting, with the possibility of it being more competitive. Now, of course, I still have this race in a very significant, strong margin for Republicans. I think it'll stay that way until we start to see more information out on this race. As of this point, it seems likely that Democrats are going to stay in it, and I think that only hurts them because it's likely going to split the vote between the independent and the Democrat instead of hurting the Republican overall. So, I wanted to make note of that and look at this race overall and how it's going to impact the 2026 midterms and what it really means. I mean, the fact that an incumbent senator who originally won in 2014, ran for re-election in 2020, both times won by double-digit margins, and then come 2026, a year that is expected to be pretty significant for Democrats, the last second he decides to drop out of this race, leaving this as an opportunity for Democrats to really capitalize off something and perhaps maybe bring an independent candidate into the mix where it's an independent facing a Republican, which could become significantly interesting. I also wanted to make note, too, that Kurt Alm, who announced yesterday that he was running for this race right after incumbent Senator Steve Daines announced that he would not run for this race, Donald Trump has already endorsed Kurt Alm for this Senate race. He previously endorsed Daines, but it's already official, at least according to this, that Donald Trump has officially endorsed Kurt Alm to not only be that Republican nominee, but to go on and be the next senator from the state of Montana. So with all of this said, this is going to significantly shape up some Senate races. Of course, like I said before, if the Democratic Party can convince the other Democrats to drop out and make this an independent versus a Republican race, this race has an opportunity to become a little bit more competitive, where Democrats might actually spend money on it, versus a race where someone like Steve Daines was running for re-election, and it would have been very difficult to oust him. So we'll see what happens over the next few days, weeks ahead, and we'll see what kind of impact this really has on the development of the race overall, and on the state of Montana heading into the 2026 midterms, and what it really looks like overall. Of course, we fully expect Kurt Alm to be that Republican nominee, especially, receiving people like Tim Sheehy and Steve Daines and Donald Trump's endorsement just hours after announcing his campaign. It's fully expected that he will be that Republican nominee. The question is are Democrats willing to drop out of this race and give it to an independent candidate to run, and perhaps make this significantly more competitive? Because like I said before, Jon Tester declined to run for this race, but did endorse the independent candidate, Seth Bodnar. Just 2 years ago, we're talking just 2 years ago, Jon Tester was the Democratic senator from the state of Montana, and today he's endorsed an independent candidate. If more people get on that track where they're willing to endorse this independent to run a race against a Republican, it makes this race a little more different than it was just a few hours ago, really, at that point. And like I said before, we're looking at margins where Jon Tester only lost by 7 points when he ran in 2018. He won by 3.6%. Of course, a Democratic environment, but we kind of expect 2026 to be an awful lot like 2018. And if Democrats could capitalize off that and somehow bring out a victory, that would be incredible for them in a state that otherwise wasn't looked at as a possibility. We're talking about a state that 6 years ago went to the incumbent, Steve Daines, by 10 points, and today we're talking about a possibility of this race flipping just 2 years after Republicans flipped the other Senate seat in Montana. So of course, like I said earlier on in this video, I don't expect that this race really has a significant shakeup in too much, but of course we'll have to wait and see what this means overall and how it impacts some of the races, and impacts the fact that maybe Democrats are more willing to spend money on this race than they were before. We'll have to just wait and see. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that that the Republicans have this in the bag? Do you think an independent such as Seth Bodnar has a shot at winning this race if Democrats drop out? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.